The Drapers and the Rockefellers, and the death of the modern petrodollar. What does all this have to do with SWIFT? Stay tuned and you shall find out. Plus, Bitcoin hit 75K here on election day. Let's get into it. But first, as always, cue my guy Indigo Saint. Check him out at the Third Eye. Hey, let's get it. Boom. Let's get it. Indigo Saint in the building. Black View Investing. Let's go.
Who's this producer?
Best believe I was black or invested. With your money, you ain't gotta be guessing. Profits is what we manifested. So we binge on a black or invested. Best believe I was black or invested. Got course in this race, we ain't resting. We got stocks, we got crypto with a blessing. So thank God for that black or invested. Best believe I was black or invested.
What is up, Black Roo Crew? What is up, Crypto Warriors? We're in the house on election day here. Gonna hit you with some facts here about the Drapers, about the Rockefellers, and what this has to do with SWIFT, and what this has to do with the death. Yes, that's right, the death of the petrodollar. Okay, and this is gonna be straight facts, straight information. It may be a little bit different than what you're used to hearing, but we'll have the receipts. Okay, but first, gotta touch on Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high, 75K. We told you here, I said, what will a presidential election do to Bitcoin, do to crypto? We've mentioned it various different times that after the election, it seems like the crypto market goes boom. Today, Bitcoin hit 75K. Okay, so a couple of minutes ago, actually, that I saw it hit 75K, and I saw that Strike put out an announcement about it. I didn't look at the announcement and see if they actually said 75K, but it definitely touched that. It wicked to that 75K on my TradingView app. So let's get in it today, and let's get into it. So let's go look at the chart, see what Bitcoin is doing here. So yeah, it definitely had wicked up here past 75 or 275. I don't know if it passed it. It might have passed it. Okay, it's not telling me. Okay, yep. See how it says high 75? So at least on TradingView, it wicked to 75. Okay, so we might see, if Trump wins the election here, I think the sentiment will be, even though both candidates claim to be pro-crypto, I think if Trump wins the election, I think the sentiment will be crypto way positive, okay? Way positive. So, so that's going to be something to watch out for. So definitely we're going to have to watch out for that as we go on here. But so this is going to be very important, this episode today. And you know what they say, a picture says 1,000 words. I just want to bring this picture out here. And something important to note about this is Standard Oil. If you guys do not know what Standard Oil is the company started by kind of progenitor, if you will, the whole like granddaddy starter of the whole Rockefeller family, John D. Rockefeller. And Standard Oil was split into multiple oil companies. So Standard Oil itself was hurt by this. So like, how they have the whole monopoly rule where you're not allowed to have a monopoly. Well, it did hurt Standard Oil as a person because, corporations are technically legal persons. It did hurt Standard Oil as a company. But when these companies split up, it actually helped John D. Rockefeller because he still owned all the companies that Standard Oil split off from. Okay, so it just made him more rich. And a lot of the oil companies we think are not are competing, like BP, were actually under Rockefeller control. We'll get into that. Chase Bank has gotten a lot of oil money go through Chase Bank. And we've shown you guys how David Rockefeller, which is John D. Rockefeller's great grandson, I believe, or maybe one great or two great, but he's John D. Rockefeller's grandson, how he was chairman of Chase. So a lot of Standard Oil money ran through Chase Bank, as well as Saudi and Iranian oil money ran through Chase Bank, which we're going to talk about. And, you know, we got the Drapers over here, kind of representative of the Rockefellers as well. We're going to go into how the Drapers and the Rockefellers are connected. You see Draper owns Robin Hood, and you see the red and white here of the Draper Dragons, and you see the Coinbase here. Okay, so we're going to get into all of that here as we go on. Let's see what would be the first place to start here. Okay, I think the first place to start is looking at the progenitor Rockefeller. But let's see what we got in the house here today. Pull up the chat. What's up, Lay Square? What's up, Cryptonomics? What's up, Jen and Hayes? Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, put all your comments in the chat. We'll definitely get over to it here. So yeah, let's start with the progenitor Rockefeller. So John D. Rockefeller. There's some pics, John D. Rockefeller. This is a pretty good one of him, but there's some pictures of him as an old man that straight scared the bejesus out of me, bro. Like, I don't even know if they have any of them down here. Okay, kind of like this one. They kind of polished this up though, but ooh, there's some pictures of this man that just look like soulless, like literally. But this is kind of the progenitor Rockefeller, and just looking at his profile, you kind of understand the kind of vast wealth of the Rockefeller family. And it's just here in Wikipedia here, right? What you're going to notice is the Rockefellers did the General Board of Education. It was run by the Rockefellers. And I believe, I don't have the actual quote here, but you can fact check this on your own. This Rockefeller is famous for saying, we don't want smart people, or like, we don't need smart people, we need workers. That was his quote. So there's a question there of like, okay, if they set up the General Board of Education, what did they fund for education? What is that? Did they fund what we think about oil? Did they fund a lot of things? That's some question there, but we're not going to get into that right now. And you can see also he founded various universities, and you can see his wife there, Laura Spelman. If you know the Black college, Spelman College, yes, that was also funded by the Rockefellers, and you can see they also founded University of Chicago, Rockefeller University, Central Pepperdine University, the General Education Board, as I mentioned, and the Rockefeller Foundation. So there's pretty much serious thing that the Rockefellers really don't touch or haven't touched, okay? So this is the progenitor Rockefeller, and him and his wife are going to be very important, but then eventually we're going to transition to David Rockefeller, which will be that progenitor Rockefeller's grandchild. So this is John Davison Rockefeller Jr., who was that other Rockefeller that I just showed you. That was his son. And this guy's son is David Rockefeller. Okay. So these are the two kind of big members of the Rockefeller family that we're going to talk about today. So now let's understand Standard Oil. Okay. So Standard Oil, this is the company that was basically due to monopolies. You can see here, it was the greatest business trust in the United States. Through the use of the company's monopoly power, Rockefeller revolutionized the petroleum industry through corporate and technological innovations, instrumental both widely disseminating and drastically reducing the production of oil. Okay. So Rockefeller's company and business practices came under criticism, particularly in the writings of Ida Tarbell. It's interesting name. Because we know tar is used for asphalt. That's another thing we have oil in. But anyway, the Supreme Court ruled in 1911. There's another 11 that Standard Oil Company must be dismantled for violation of federal antitrust laws. It was broken up into 34 separate entities, which include Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, and others, which remain the largest companies by revenue worldwide. So, like I said, Standard Oil was broken up, and this hurt Standard Oil as a business, as a company, as a business entity. But Rockefeller still owned these. Okay, he still owned them. Okay, let me go back. So he still owned Exxon Mobil. He still owned Chevron. And then now it's a good time for us to get into some of the companies that split into. So here we go. We're looking at big oil, sometimes called the Seven Sisters, which is interesting for a couple of different reasons, which I don't think we'll get into on this episode. But if someone wants to ask me, I can tell you why that's interesting. The Seven Sisters thing. You can see here. Big oil, previously referred to as 7 oil companies, which formed the consortium for Iran. Remember Iran, we're going to get back to it. Such was the Seven Sisters, which were Anglo-Persian Oil Company, okay, a predecessor of BP. Who knew BP was once Anglo-Persian Oil Company? So it's like kind of right there in the name that, you know, the Anglos and the Persians were teaming up, right? But these were what it broke into, and these were all Rockefeller companies: ExxonMobil, Shell, Total Energies, BP, Chevron, Marathon, Phillips 66, Valero, Eni, and ConocoPhillips. Now, what they're going to say down here. Okay. Okay, so basically all of these companies were basically still under Rockefeller control. They mention it a little bit lower here. Okay, let me see. I'll just search it. Okay, got it. Here it is. So in 1951, Iran nationalized. Well, we'll get back to that. Previously controlled by the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, now BP, again. And Iranian oil was subjected to an international embargo. In an effort to bring Iranian oil production back to the international markets, the U.S. Department suggested, the U.S. State Department suggested the creation of a consortium of major oil companies, several of which were daughter corporation of John D. Rockefeller's original Standard Oil Company. So they're basically telling you that these were the daughter companies of Rockefeller. Okay. So who would have thought? Who would have thought? Now, if you guys weren't aware, check out episode 1 and 2 of the Draper Rockefeller connection, in which we go over how Draper and Rockefeller basically rebuilt, Europe after World War II. And after World War II, America established Israel. Okay, that's just what it is. It's facts. Go look at that episode. America and Britain established Israel. So here, let's get into kind of the Saudis a little bit. So let's understand what's going on here with the Saudis. The reason why this is kind of important here, let's see here, is let's go ahead and search here. Because remember, the Saudi prince, right? The Saudi prince just said, okay, I'm not renewing the 50-year deal in which buying oil exclusively in American dollars. We're not renewing that. Okay, so here's part of it here. Let's read this. Again, these are all former Rockefeller companies. Anglo-Persian, or these are all Rockefeller companies. Anglo-Persian Oil Company, which is BP, Gulf Oil, Chevron, Shell, Standard Oil of California, Chevron, Standard Oil of New Jersey, Exxon, later Exxon Mobil, Standard Oil of New York, Mobil, later Exxon Mobil, Texaco, Chevron. Okay. By 1930s, the Seven Sisters dominated oil production in the world. All Rockefellers. Companies own nearly all the rights to the oil in Iran, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia. Okay, and the Persian Gulf. So all of these companies owned all of it there. So this was all Rockefeller controlled. And what, it's right here, right? And what modern news would have you believe today is that it wasn't like it's always been under their control. But let's continue. The companies established jointly, the jointly owned companies such as Iran Petroleum Company, to legally tie their hands together, facilitate cooperation, and prevent cheating on one another. Yeah, right. Okay. But going on, the company sought to limit the oil supply by controlling its speed at which oil fields were developed. From the 1920s to the 1940s, they had agreements not to produce oil in the Middle East unless it was in coordination with one another. They're all owned by the same person. Of course, they're making these agreements. This is not okay. Anyway, after the 1940s, the companies continued to collude because they're owned by the same person. Anyway, the discovery of the massive oil fields in Saudi Arabia, and we're going to get to that, right? We're going to get to that. Threatened to scuttle the cartel as a control of the oil fields. So this is a little disingenuous. Just remember this. The discovery of massive oil fields in Saudi Arabia threatened to scuttle the cartel as a control of the oil fields by the two companies could undermine existing supply management schemes. This is such utter BS, okay? But just remember that. That's BS. However, the Saudi oil production ultimately became jointly controlled. See, so now they admit it after talking bull crap. Ultimately became jointly controlled by the four of the Seven Sisters, thus making it easier to maintain coordination between the Seven Sisters. Okay, so keep all that in mind. Now let's move over and start talking about Saudi Arabia. And again, the reason why this is important, because remember, the Prince of Saudi Arabia decided not to renew the petrodollar agreement. And what we think this means, right, is that Saudi Arabia is moving towards de-dollarization, aligning closely to BRICS, a coalition of emerging economies. By refusing to renew the petrodollar pact, Saudi Arabia signals its intervention to diversify its economic partnerships and reduce reliance on the United States. So keep this in mind. This is what people think. This is what we think about the Saudi prince and what he's doing with BRICS. Okay, so we just kind of detailed all these oil companies that we thought were separate companies, maybe even competing against each other, were even according to this Wikipedia article, colluding Reason why they were colluding was because they were all owned by the same person, which was which is the Rockefeller family. Okay, so let's continue in on the Saudis. Okay, so we're going to look at this Treaty of Darren or Darren Pact. This was made in 1915 between the United Kingdom and Abdul Aziz Al Saud, sometimes called Ibn Saud, ruler of the Saudi Arabian kingdom, right? Okay. So this was between the United Kingdom. Now, one of the things we're going to understand about the United Kingdom is you're like, that's Britain now. That's not America. I need you to understand, and let's just take a look and stop to understand this, right? Britain and America have like huge ties. That whole Boston Tea Party crap, that's just historical BS in my opinion. Let's just take a look at some ties here. So we were talking about John D. Rockefeller, right? So his wife, Laura Spelman, let's look at her, okay? So again, tell you she donated tons of money to Spelman College. So basically, that was her college. So throughout their lives, the Rockefeller family continued to donate 10% of their income to charity, including substantial donations to Spelman College, founded to educate Black women. So if you guys know about the Cosby Show and all this stuff, you know about kind of Spelman College, right? So the Rockefellers have a big hold on education, starting the General Board of Education. So you have to kind of wonder if they're the ones who are in control of the education board. Some of our thoughts on oil may be crafted by the Rockefellers. Okay, but let's continue here. So one thing to note about Miss Spellman here, it says here, and they always drop these in the Wikipedia articles. They just drop them, and it's just like it seems innocuous or like not really important. But then when you look into it, it's very important. Her maternal step grandmother, as well as her two aunts, her actual family, were members of the Yale family. Okay, so we know Yale College, another college, right? Another high education facility that defines what people think of as truth, right? Um, so she's a Yale. And if we go look at the Yale family, the surname Yale, we look at Thomas Yale, we'll see here that he's a co-representative of the Royal House of Mathraffel, Ambassador to Queen Elizabeth Tudor, okay, Chancellor to Archbishop Edmund Grindal, the head of the Church of England, and was cousin of the Tudors. So he's cousin to the Tudors, the English ruling family of the Tudors. Okay. And then, they say here, kind of ending out, last relative, last native Prince of Wales. He was like grandnephew of the last native Prince of Wales. So he's related to the Welsh princes, and he's related to the kings and queens of England, the Tudors, this Thomas Yale. So that would make Miss Spellman, being a Yale, that would make her some kin to the English royal family, right? So, and you'll notice this with a lot of different like presidents, a lot of different like high level guys. So through marriage, through Miss Spellman here, Mr. David Rockefeller is basically a cousin of a royal, right? So that's just basically what it tells us. And if you look at these kind of coat of arms here, one of the things you'll notice is the red and the white, right? Okay, you'll notice the lion. The lion has to do Judah and all of this other stuff. We could go deep on the lion, but like let's look at the colors a little bit. Red and white. Where have we seen that before, right? Draper dragon. And I would like to point out that that's a red shield. Rothschild, right? That's what Rothschild means, red shield. But also we see here red and white, and this is also a shield. Red and white. And in our culture, that red and white comes up a lot. There's this is not a coincidence. If we look at the Templar flag, it is also red and white. And rumor has it is that the Templars invented Federal Reserve banking. So literally the Templars are where we kind of get our current money system from. This is also the colors of the Swiss flag. And if you kind of invert those colors, instead of making the cross red, make it white. And instead of making the background white, make it red. You have the Swiss flag. And that's coincidentally where all the huge banks of the world are. The World Forum is, LCX is. We look here, American Red Cross, the Knights of Malta, the Maltese flag. It goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on. The red and white. So obviously that dates back to Templars and British royal family. Okay. Yeah. So just a little interesting nugget right there. But so again, when we're talking Britain, understand we're kind of talking America too, because a lot of these people are related to British royals. Like, let's give you one more. He's a little outside of what we're talking about, but I just want to make this kind of clear. So, Frank Delano, Roosevelt, member of the Delano family, or Delano. If you look up the Delano family, you see that this family goes back to. So there's evidence to suggest. You see how they just kind of. It's just like a little footnote. Evidence to suggest that the Delano family are descendants of the noble house of. Okay, this is Belgian royalty. Okay, and there's some of the family crests. So when you look into all of this and you realize that a lot of these people, and we've looked up the Bushes before, right? And we know that the Bushes say that they are, and there's that lion again. The Bushes say that they are actually related to the British royal family. So in some sense that would make them kin to the Rockefellers, since the Rockefellers are related to the Tudors, and you got all of this kind of mixing. Bottom line to take from that is when Britain's doing something, it kind of means America's doing it because they're kind of a little all related, kind of. Okay. I could go into like even more, but just kind of take it for that. So they're kind of all related. Now, all the way back to the Treaty of Darren, right? Was made between the United Kingdom, basically America too, right? And Abdul Aziz El Saud. Okay. Now, what did this treaty do? This treaty made the lands of the House of Saud a British protectorate. So basically, it said that Britain's gonna protect the House of Saud. Okay. The British aim was to guarantee the sovereignty of Kuwait, Qatar, and the Trucial States of Abdulaziz agreed not to attack British protectorates, and did not promise not to attack of Mecca. did not promise not to attack. So he them, I guess. Also, he agreed to enter World War One in the Middle East against the Ottoman Empire. Okay, which the Ottoman Empire, I guess, we know the Ottoman Empire to be the original Muslims, right? Not saying that the House of Saud is not original Muslims, but these were the original people. When people say the Ottoman Empire, they generally mean the Muslims who like fought in the Crusades, or that type of. But again, so he fought. The House of Saud fought against the Ottoman Empire, which you wouldn't think something, right? But the House of Saud fought against the Ottoman Empire in War One. Now, here's some extra significant nuggets. Following the treaty, Abdulaziz obtained the following from the British: recognition of the ruler of Najad. So basically, acknowledging him as the ruler of the Ottoman Empire. Basically, is what they're saying. So, like, okay, you're gonna go in, you're gonna fight the Ottomans, and we're gonna say that you're a ruler. And its dependencies under British protection and loans. So he got paid. He got that cash. A loan of 20k pounds, and a shipment of arms in June 1916. A monthly stipend of 5,000 pounds. And from the end of World War One to March 94, an annual stipend of 60k pounds. And in 1917, the first article of treaty acknowledged the rights of Abdulaziz's sons to rule. So not only we're going to say that you're the ruler of that area, which your sons have the right to rule it. Okay. So the reason this is really significant is because, okay, if they won World War, British won World War One, effectively establishing the Saudis as the rulers of that land, and they fought against the Ottoman Empire and basically beat them and established themselves as the ruler of the Arabian lands. Okay, so Britain, i.e., America, set the Saudis where they were. And lo and behold, what we kind of saw earlier is, oh, they miraculously found oil. Someone must have knew oil was there. And hey, we already kind of put you up in that place. And we'll just create BP, and now we have control of this oil. We being and the Rockefellers, Americans, right? So here goes the House of Saud. It basically comes into saying America helped them once they found that oil to harvest it. Surveyor. Okay, there we go. So by 1932, so this is after they the Ottomans and they established themselves as the rulers of that land. And here it is. Abdulaziz had disposed of all his main rivals and consolidated his rule over much of the Arabian Peninsula. He united his dominions into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that year. His father, Abdul Rahman, retained the honorary title of Imam in 1937 near Dammam. American surveyors discovered what later proved to be Saudi Arabia's vast oil reserves. Okay, so American surveyors, right? I thought the British were the ones who were giving them all these loans, right? American, British, it's kind of the same thing, really, right? It just really is. So again, remember, Treaty of Darren, they said, okay, we're gonna establish you guys. You're gonna and fight the Ottoman Empire. We're gonna give you guys loans, and we're gonna set you guys up. Somehow they already knew oil, even in 1915. They knew the oil was there. And they kind of bankrolled them forming the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Okay, so remember we already kind of went over how America formed Israel, and again, remember with Node Capital, right? How seems like the Rothschilds and these guys heavy presence in Israel, and I think there's some type of stat where like American politicians, like 50 or 60% of them have like a second citizenship to Israel. I'll have to look that up. We'll have to look that up right quick. But remember, these guys were eToro guys, but then looking at Ben Rothschild, right? 7 years experience as a managing director in a prominent family office, of course. Ben offers deep expertise in investment strategy and financial management. As a seasoned tech investor and a board member, Ben's network, particularly within Israeli tech ecosystem, is instrumental in identifying and nurturing promising opportunities. So basically, Americans and British kind of have Israel on lockdown. Let me see if we can find that stat. I think the stat's something like American, let's see if we can see American politicians second citizenship with Israel. It was like some really big percentage, guys, like crazy percentage. Okay, I guess I'm probably not going to find it. Let me just say 50%, maybe that'll help me find it. Ooh, I can't type today. Or spell. Okay, I saw it somewhere. I'm probably not gonna find it though. It was some really big percentage. It was like 50 or 60% have a second citizen. Okay. Anyways, well, we started Israel, and as it's looking here, America and Britain started bankrolled Saudi Arabia. So when we understand that, and we understand that America and Israel control BP, right, which is kind of Saudi oil, right? We kind of get a different understanding of what Prince of Saud is doing, right? One second, guys. Sorry. Okay, but let's take this back to another situation that's pretty interesting involving the Rockefellers. So there was a oil crisis. Okay, this is interesting, very interesting. So in 1973, had an oil crisis. Okay, um, in which Kissinger was helping out with. Okay, I think this was like 1950s, 1970s, and something. And basically, okay, so let's look at a different article here. First, let's see how we're doing in chat over here. All right, awesome. Okay, probably a lot of people watching the election, but that's cool. Okay, so let's go over here. Let's close Franklin. Let's close Knights of Malta. Let's keep that one up. Okay, so let's look at this. And we kind of went over this information before, but let's look at Mr. Henry Kissinger. Okay, so if you guys are not aware, okay, there's another Rockefeller that we should be kind of aware of, which is a Mr. Nelson Rockefeller. This will be David Rockefeller's brother. Okay, let's bring him up. So he's vice president of the U.S. Okay, so he's kind of crazy because the Rockefellers were kind of like really out there at one point in time, and now they kind of like themselves in the background. So this is Mr. Nelson Rockefeller as vice president under Gerald Ford. Okay. During Mr. Rockefeller's was this during his vice presidency? Okay. So let's see. So you can see he was really big friends with Henry Kissinger. These guys were like they were tight. They were in 1956 he created the Special Studies Project, a major 7-panel planning group directed by Henry Kissinger and funded by the Rockefellers Fund, of which he was then president. It was an ambitious study created to define central problems and opportunities facing the U.S. in the future and to clarify national purposes and objectives. The reports were published individually as they were released and republished together in 1961 as Prospect for America Rockefeller Panel Reports. Okay. So, okay, here it is. Here's another kind of look at how big of friends they were. This is contact with Kissinger was developed into a lifelong relationship. Kissinger was later described as his closest intellectual associate. From this period, Rockefeller employed Kissinger personally as a personally funded part-time consultant, principally on foreign policy issues, until the appointment to his staff became full-time in late 1968. In 1969, when Kissinger entered Richard Nixon's administration, Rockefeller paid him $50K as a severance payment. Okay, so seems as though Kissinger was just like his boy, and it seems like part of Nixon's administration. And remember, Nixon's the one who pulled us off the gold standard. So there it is that they're kind of involved in that, right? Okay, so let's go over to this article here. So let's look. This article is from, we've looked at this one before, Mrs. and Institute, or Mises Institute, Austrian Economics, Freedom, and Peace. Okay, so let's look at Mr. Kissinger's references here. Okay, got it. So here we are. It should be clear that the name and the political party. Okay, let's see. We're going to get into this a little bit here. Um, the foreign policy for so long of Nelson Rockefeller's personal foreign affairs advisor, Henry A. Kissinger, a discovery of extraordinary powerful Rockefeller Chase Manhattan Bank elder statesman John J. McCloy is a testimony to the importance of financial power. The successful lobbying of Kissinger and Chase Manhattan's head, David Rockefeller, to induce Jimmy Carter to allow the ailing Shah of Iran into the U.S. So, okay. So, again, so they're saying Jimmy Carter, David Rockefeller, and Henry Kissinger allowed the ailing Shah into the U.S. Okay, what are we talking about here? Let's reference this article here, in which it says how David Rockefeller helped the Shah enter the U.S. Okay, so basically they're saying, and back then they're saying there's this war in the Middle East, right? And they send over Mr. Kissinger to kind of help with it. And the people are warring over, quote unquote, oil. Again, remember, these are Rockefeller companies, right? Rockefellers control the Shah and the leadership of Saudi Arabia, and America and Britain created Israel. So just take from that what you will. But here we say the Shah was looking for some help. So Kissinger, a Rockefeller agent, smuggles, quote unquote, the Shah into America. And what the Shah decide to do? He decides to put his banking interest in bank. Who was president of Chase Bank at that time? David Rockefeller. Okay. So it says, as Tehran's coffers swelled with oil revenues in the 1970s, Chase formed a joint venture with our state bank and earned big fees advising the National Oil Company. This is they set this company up, okay? So it might seem like the Shah of Iran is in charge of it, but this was a Rockefeller company, bro. Okay? I know they're saying National Oil Company and that, the Shah of Iran now controlled it or whatever. We just got through talking about big oil and how it was previously controlled by the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. They also called it the Anglo-Persian Oil Company. But again, all of these companies, even though they were the consortium of Iran, even though they were called OPEC, or they were grouped together as OPEC as if they were trying to like regulate oil prices, we've already said, and it's already shown us that these came out of Rockefeller's original Standard Oil companies, which let's just show that again. Several of which were daughter corporations to John D. Rockefeller's original Standard Oil. All of these were originally Rockefeller Standard Oil. Okay. So all of these seven sisters, and regardless of the fact that they even created OPEC, right? All their stuff. Okay. It's all their stuff. So it's quite hilarious that, going back here, the Shah was smuggled out. And then he comes and he's convinced, air quotes, to put all money in a Rockefeller controlled Chase Bank. Okay. And then realize Chase Bank, JP Morgan Chase, is Ethereum, right? They're the money people behind Ethereum. So again, this comes the Draper connection to consensus. And here's the Drapers. Let's show you where they come in here. There's an article here. I just found this random PDF where William Henry Draper III, which is Tim Draper's father. Let's go ahead and look at that. Bill Draper, or William Henry Draper III. Still alive, by the way. Children, you can see there, Tim Draper, right? So we can see here, this is his father. So he gave this talk to the woman or this person. Oh, sorry. The talk was, oh man, we're just messing all up right here. Talk was given. Okay, this is when the Computer History Museum, but the talk itself was given in 2005. Okay, 2000. What you're going to notice here, if we search Rockefeller. Okay, so let's look at this line. Now, William Draper III is talking about his father. Okay, he went to Mexico. So this is Tim Draper's father talking about Tim Draper's father. He went to Mexico, Mexican Light and Power, and ran that for a small Belgian. Here's Belgian coming up. The Belgian people coming up. Owned by the Belgian, really. And he got General Maxwell Taylor to take his place when he came up to join Anderson. And they raised some money from the Rockefellers and one other source, and then they started Draper and Gaither. And remember, that was the first limited partnership in America. Okay. And if we go back to, hopefully that's Bitcoin making another high there. We'll get to that in just a second. If we go back to William Henry Draper III, it says, and also remember that William Henry Draper III, his daddy that we're talking about right now, was the first ambassador to NATO. And also here he founded Draper Gaither, and that was the first limited partnership in America. So they started VC firms. This family started them. Okay. And here's Yale University coming up again. And these guys, of course, William Draper the third is Skull and Bones, which it says right here. He attended with George Bush, again, who we know is some relation to the British royals himself. At Yale University with President George H.W. Bush, graduated in 1950, the year after George H.W. Bush, and is a member of the secret society Skull and Bones. Okay, so let's go check and see what it is. Okay, that was something. Sui. Shooey. Okay, here we go. Shout out to the Patreon. We had it on, definitely had it on the Patreon. Let's kick back over here to which article were we reading? Okay, this. I think I have Draper in here too. Draper's daddy or Draper's grandfather, William Draper, Tim Draper. Okay, so here it is. So it's basically saying how Tim Draper's grandfather, William H. Draper Jr., was ambassador to NATO, which we just got confirmed here. It's the first ambassador for NATO. Okay. And then that's kind of that same time that they formed Israel, they formed IMF, they formed a lot of the way the petrodollar works. Okay. And this family was a part of all of that. Okay. So it's very interesting now. So to me now, this gives me a whole new dynamic on BRICS. And a lot of people with BRICS is they're like, nobody's going to beat America, right? Like, who's going to take down the American dollar? And it's not about a takedown. That's what you have to understand. Or for at least this is what I understand. It's not about a takedown. It's about the same people who created the petrodollar, the Drapers, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, now shifting things towards BRICS. Because, like it or not, I really still think the Saudi Arabian, I know that they say like the Saudi Arabian oil is under Saudi Arabian control or whatever. But you really think that the Rockefellers and the British and the Americans don't have any control there when they're the ones who put them in place, when they're the ones who said, okay, we're going to give you a stipend and we're going to say that your children can rule and, we're going to help you survey and find the oil. We're going to survey it for you and find it. American surveyors, right? So do you really think that America and Britain don't have any control there? I think not, right? I think not. They definitely do. They definitely do. Speculate. I have to be cautious here. I'm speculating a bit, right? I'm speculating, but I would think if America and Britain had this much, if they funded it this much, and they made all these moves to put these guys in power, I would tend to think they saw a pull there. Okay. So now think about BRICS in a different light of the people who kind of made the moves to set up the petrodollar are kind of being shifting a little bit away from the petrodollar and moving more towards BRICS. Even though on the surface it seems like BRICS versus America and Britain are still kind of, I hate to use the word hidden hand, but I mean they're still the phrase hidden hand, I should say. They're still the kind of controlling, the bosses, the jefes, if you will, behind Saudi Arabia, behind BRICS and what's happening there. A little case in point, New York Fed and the Monetary Authority of Singapore to collaborate to explore potential enhancements to cross-border payments using wholesale CBDCs. Cross-border payments like SWIFT, right? And they're using XLR, right, doing this, and we've already tracked down and traced for you, right, who has a large share of XLR in XLR, the funding of it. I think in this article it says that they're using XLR. Okay, maybe it doesn't in this one. Well, okay, sorry. That scared me a little bit. I thought, Singapore. Why? Because it seems to me like these guys know kind of that they're planning BRICS to be what's next. They're planning BRICS to be the next right. Yeah, that just seems really clear to me. Hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, I'm running out of juice here. Let me see. Okay, let's get some questions now. Damn, that indigo saying slaps. Swift is a good bet. Let's go, Doge. And again, guys, let me just bring you up here. So we just saw the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and we know we've connected that to XLR before. Now let's just bring that all back. We saw Node Capital, right? And we saw how Node Capital has a Rothschild involved, and we know how Node Capital part of what Swift blockchain is doing. And we know the whole Singapore is focusing on cross-border payment, right? So now imagine, right, that these billionaires like the Rothschilds, like the Drapers, like the Rockefellers, like the Roosevelts, like the Bushes, all of these guys are shifting towards BRICS. The writing kind of is already on the wall with these Draper dragons, right? And Draper having large investments in China, right? Tesla being largely invested in China. Tim Draper being largely invested in things that Elon Musk is a part of. Having his Draper Dragon VC firm that's more just focused on that area of the world, that Chinese area of the world. Of course, can't neglect Coin DCX. He started that as well. He has initial investments in Coin DCX, Coin Uno. So he's heavily in the idea. If you haven't seen my videos on Draper, check those out as well, right? Swift is based in China, and one of the first companies that Swift went to was Mizuho Bank, which is heavy in Asia, mostly in Japan, but they're heavy with XRP. So it's looking like these people are trying to shift things to the BRICS side of things. And it makes a lot more sense when you look at it as a shift, as opposed to, oh, the little dogs or a little brother, quote unquote, to talk about how Michigan talks about Michigan State, right? The little guy is trying to take down America or G7 The little guy is trying to take out the whole oil system. No, no. It's the guys that America and Britain already control, saying, "Oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna not just accept the dollar, and we're gonna move something else, right? That something else is what's next." And I feel like Swift is a part of that. I feel like XLR is a part of that. I feel like XRP is a part of that. And I feel like with the research we have here, or and when I say I feel, it's more than a feeling, right? Because I presented evidence, I presented things to you. This is not financial advice at all. I'm not trying to be anybody's financial advisor. These are just what I'm doing with my portfolio. So when I'm saying kind of feelings, I'm kind of talking to myself a little bit here, but I definitely provided much information to say, okay, maybe Saudi Arabia might have some people pulling their strings. Maybe they might, right? Maybe BRICS, maybe the people behind BRICS might be the old establishment that's behind everything. Maybe. It's something to think about. It's something to think about. But to me, that makes it a little bit more easy to stomach BRICS, in that you see, oh, this isn't against America. This is billionaires shifting their money to what they think is next for whatever reason, right? That is very interesting. That's very interesting, at least to me. Let's go, Doge. What's good, Rue? At BTC touches 75K, I'm selling my play BTC so I can buy back in at the dip and pick up some more Swift and H&T. E, what's going on? We up? Yes, we are, brother. Yes, we are. For your soul, Nance, what's up? I'm watching. For your soul, Nance, Trump 2024. Soul Flip BNB, Crazy, PC Peace, Kid Grabo, and Hero Tanami that says, I hope Trump will having a feeling they will still and cheat the election like last time. Yeah, dude, that's certainly could be a possibility, bro. Could be a possibility. All I can say is I think, both presidents are, it seems like support cryptocurrency. I think that's a good thing. But I do believe if Trump is elected or chosen or selected or however you want to put it, right? I think the sentiment will be bullish for crypto because he and Robert Kennedy Jr., they have proven themselves to be crypto guys. Speaking at the Bitcoin conference, I know Kamala Harris has had crypto endorsements, including from Ripple, right? But I think the sentiment for people, if he wins, will be okay. Crypto's got it. It's in. It's good. Because remember, like it or not, the Harris administration did give you, Gary Gensler is like kind of part of that, right? So we shall see, man. We shall see what's going on, and I think definitely thank you guys for joining me on this crypto day. Oh man, I think it'll be nice to wake up tomorrow and just see Bitcoin at like 76K, right? That'd be so amazing. So amazing. But again, we said it. We said it here. You can see the marks that we have about the presidential race, right? And every time it's kind of gone bullish in cryptocurrency after that. We've said it here. We said it to you guys months ago, right? So can't say that we weren't prepared on this channel. We said it. Okay. Just pull up the receipts. Hopefully, if my computer dies or something like that, that's just it. But let's try to pull up the receipts here. And if you want, you might want to go back and check out that show. I think it's basically if the presidential election does what to crypto? That's the title. We'll see here. Lives, not videos. I think we see 76, at least 76 tomorrow if Trump wins. At least 76. Okay, so you guys really liked. If you didn't catch the last show, definitely go check it. Swift Blockchain, the key to bricks. Very lot of viewers for the channel. I really love to see that. Let's see here. So yeah, we talked about October. We said we were talking October, but even before that, we did talk presidential election does what to crypto. Where is that one? Okay, and you see there Swift blockchain, India and China. We covered that. So if you want to know more about that, go check that out. There it is. Presidential election does what to the markets? We said that September 15th, 2024. Okay. Oh, something interesting too. With Henry Kissinger. Remember I was telling you guys about those 11s all the time that come up. RIP Henry Kissinger. His go away date is November 29, bro. So 11 and 2 plus 9 is what? 11. So 11/11, 2023. Aged 100. That's, bro, 100. That's crazy. Just like Draper's daddy's like 97, bro. That's just a lot of years, bro. It's a lot of years. Like, more power. Oh, 96. More power to him, bro. More power to him. Hey, here we go. 1/1, 1920, 28. You can't write this stuff, bro. You can't write it. Let's see. All right, awesome. So, yeah, let's see what happens with the election, guys. Thanks for joining me on this Tuesday. Another banger of a show. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.